live. Thanks, Undertaker. Welcome, everyone, to the Foolish Tech Show. Happy Monday.
I want some juice. Happy Monday.
Come on.
Give me some juice.
Morning. Starting off the break. Do you have any? Whoa, did my internet just freak out, or did Nick's? Or did everyone's? It looks like Michael started and ran away, so he can't tell us.
No, what can't I tell you?
Exactly. You're not even paying attention.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I am.
He's that broke.
I was putting on a different shirt, so I took my headset off for a quick second. What?
Well, that's what we need you to be paying attention to be able to answer the question. Repeating the question when you might as well go back and rewatch the show. So, anyway.
That actually is kind of annoying, you know, when someone says something and then all of a sudden you're expected to respond, but you just started taking a hit of that smoky, or you just pulled a shirt over your head, or I don't know, but it's frustrating.
It is.
You have to wait like 5 seconds, then they go, and people start to freak out.
Or you just like took a huge bite of a barbecue sandwich, and then people are like, "Hey," and you're like,
I don't get paid for this, but we should get paid for this product advertisement.
Is that one of the mixed ones?
That's a good
one. No, oh yeah, it's orange and pineapple.
Yeah, those are good.
Simply brand. I love that stuff.
So,
answer Tank's question, omelet, cheddar cheese, and bacon, obviously on top, and it's stuffed in the middle with hot sausage, feta cheese, and capers, and it's seasoned with, I want to say it's tarin or something. It's tayin. It's some Mexican spice. It's like chili peppers and dehydrated lime. Lots of dehydrated lime and a little salt. It's awesome. Oh,
self-folded
green Tabasco. Only Tabasco worth having.
That does look delicious.
Paid product placement. That's what I'm saying. We could do this.
Yes, if any advertisers are out
there. Chipotle Tabasco. Yeah. What's your viewership? A dozen people. Let's see what we're gonna pay for that.
I think YouTube has paid sponsorship. We're just not participating because we don't agree with ads.
Yeah.
You know, I think ads built into the show and having sponsors is a much better route to take. Actually, that's the preferred route to take. Because usually with sponsors, you're going to agree with the product that you're getting sponsored by. Hopefully, unless you're just a sellout.
And that happens.
Yeah, that does happen. Michael, you need to speak up this morning. That's a first. Undertaker, you're treading dangerous ground there. Asking Michael to speak up.
Hi, Undertaker. Wait, that's a name I haven't heard in a long time. That reminds me of something.
Brownie said that last night. I was like,
yeah.
I don't know who that is.
I think is that Glenn? I don't know. Who could that be? Who could that be?
So he actually had an interesting post here this morning. He said he found an interesting find on Vista SP1, Windows 8 App Store.exe. Considered that slightly out of place. And it had the switches /S/N/I. Completely safe. Windows 8 App Store on Vista SP1 with /S and /I and /N.
is this an identifiable malware?
I imagine he deleted it.
No, you didn't tell us what it was. You didn't tell us.
Was that found with Kill 'Em All, by the way? That's that ask.
If that was in the middle of an install, I don't know.
Oh yeah, probably not.
Yeah. And Glenn had also pasted some links. I'm picking up on what those are. So give me a second here. Talk amongst yourselves, peoples. It does look like we got RTM Tech Shoot Glenn in here twice. Undertaker and Zombie Worm just joined us. So welcome all to this Monday morning. Possibly Tuesday for Glenn.
Yeah, we're not clear.
Obviously, he's Undertaker today because he's in as Glenn twice already, and it's not letting him out.
Mm-hmm.
What about that? I started wonky.
No, he's testing IRC on Android, and he's permanently stuck on the.
Yeah, I have the. Yeah, I know. My Android client. Yeah. You have to like disconnect the server, and then you have to close the server.
So, Glenn, this one's for you. Rootin for Deadpool. Quite a funny. He talks about Australia Day and how similar Deadpool and Australians are. So I found it quite entertaining. I thought of y'all when I did it. So. And Glenn had also posted the Dead HDD Orchestra, which is a musical ensemble of the Click of Death. And he also pasted another article that's behind a paid wall. And sorry, I am not signing up for the Australian, but I will repost that link so if anybody wants to see it. A $6 phone is what he referenced, but I can't verify that because it's behind a paywall.
If this about that, I heard it was a $3. It was like a $3 phone, and then someone said a $4 phone. But it was it was like supposed to be made in India by some Indian company, and it was like some Chinese company, and they actually put whiteout over the logo of some other brand of phone, which actually retails for $50. So there's like some big mystery about it.
Nice. It's no worries, Glenn. I'm sure all the other Australians appreciate us posting it for them.
Actual whiteout on the phone, supposedly. This was on ARS Technica. Alright. But how about this one? Can I throw this one out there?
Yeah.
Oh, wait. I don't know if I did. I don't know if I threw this one out there. Did I put this link in there this weekend? In the chat?
No, you posted that on your Google Plus. I saw. But
what link did I put in the chat? What was I thinking about that?
I am iffy on sites like that because
you're giving them your data.
Yeah. Well, you're basically saying like, if I haven't been pawned, here's an address to try.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, pretty much. That's how I felt about it at first, but it actually seems to be like fairly legitimate. I'm looking around a little bit, but I was delighted to see. Well, I decided to do it on my account, but I was delighted to see that I haven't been owned, except for our main Foolish Tech account at foolishit.com has been owned.
Oh, that's good.
Twice. One from was it Adobe and one from XSplit. But it was XSplit. It was probably before we actually signed up for XSplit. No, wait a minute. It couldn't have been because it's on the thing. Oh, hey, change your XSplit password.
Okay. We'll do that right after the show here.
Yeah, we should probably do that right now. Well, I guess now.
Not right now. No. We'll do that in 50 minutes or so. So I read some very exciting news. I know not everyone will find it exciting as I probably, but U.S. banks, I think most notably it was saying Wells Fargo, Bank of America, and Chase are rolling out about 2,000 ATMs that are, and I know this because of his banking app situation, but basically what they're doing is replacing the scanner where you put your card in and press your PIN in with your smartphone app. So on these ATM machines, you sign into your banking app on your phone, request how much money you want, and then you get a QR code that you hold up to the ATM machine. The ATM machine scans it and then spits out your money. So no more issues with card skimmers, no more issues with people looking at your PIN over the back of your shoulder and then stealing your wallet. Still issues possibly with someone stealing money while you're getting that ATM money and then also getting robbed after that. But a step in the right direction.
I guess that last thing I was talking about, have I been owned, was about email data breaches at what popular websites. They even have a notify me service.
Mm-hmm.
This is the one that I was talking about this weekend. Actually, I'm going to hold off on that for later. Do that later.
Okay. That one has been around for at least a few years, so it may be somewhat legitimate, or they have an enormous database that they use and sell. But yeah. So really weird shooting up in Michigan this past weekend. Did any of y'all hear about that? It was, at last I read, they had an Uber driver in custody for it, a 45-year-old Uber driver that looked fairly suspicious, but they didn't confirm that he was a suspect or whatever. But that's pretty much what most of the media is already assuming. But apparently, very random issue where someone shot up somebody in a neighborhood, I think. Then about 3 hours later, they killed a father and son at a car lot. Then a couple minutes later, pulled up to some people in a Cracker Barrel parking lot, talked to them for a moment, and then shot up all the people in the car. And apparently what I thought was weird about it and strange shooting is that, I mean, this is one of those cases where you were just wrong place, wrong time. There was no set agenda. It was just somebody had a weapon and not enough mental health, I guess. Great way to start off Monday.
Yeah.
Well, that certainly doesn't sound like good news for Uber.
Well,
and they had said he had passed a background check, so
yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, well, they recently settled 2 class action lawsuits concerning background checks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and do you realize that they didn't? They were fighting bills to have their drivers properly. You know, didn't I mention that they?
Well, that's what the Austin thing was.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. The Austin thing. So now I'm leaning towards they need more regulation.
But I mean,
at least as much regulation as taxis.
Fault? Did they?
No.
Did they enable him
no,
to buy the gun and then enable him to go around? Like, that's what I did find that kind of strange about the story. like, oh, he's an Uber driver. This is why it happened.
No, you're right.
What I find strange
but I
is
do
that
believe we should
is
take
that people have
precautions.
this natural expectation of an Uber driver, which is some dude who volunteers to, for a communications network designed to get people around, who essentially finds a guy who wants $20, or whatever to. I mean, why is it that someone who is doing a job for a few bucks all of a sudden trustworthy?
That and
Like that, I would think that if you're doing that, you're at least like one level down in trustworthiness. It is at least one level down from a taxi cab. I mean, you know that. I mean, don't you have something in the back of your head when you're doing Uber going, this guy, there is a slightly greater possibility that this guy is going to kill us. Or,
Why isn't this person allowed to drive an actual taxi?
Well, I know
yeah,
people who drive Uber drivers who own multiple businesses, restaurants, and they're good people. They're wealthy people, but they're still driving Uber on the side.
Yeah, I know people that do that as well. Johnny's dad and Johnny's brother do it. Johnny's brother has 2 regular jobs, and Johnny's dad has a full-time job.
I could certainly use some extra cash, and I am not driving Uber.
Yeah, well, it's a good way to make side money if you wanted to.
I guess, yeah. I'd be doing it if it gets worse, maybe, but.
But given what you just said, though, I mean, I definitely think that Uber should have the exact same background checks as taxis, though. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying that they should go above and beyond, but they should do especially.
Well, are they technically an employer, or are they still just a communications network?
The drivers would be self-contractors, I would believe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then, yeah. I mean, really? I mean, like, there's that. There's the thing like Uber, except with cars, it's homes and people get to sleep over.
Air and B&B, or yeah.
Yeah, and it wasn't sometime last year or something. Someone did their New York apartment or something and hacked up a bunch of people in that, or something. I don't know. It was like. Yeah,
I didn't hear about that one, but yeah.
I don't know if they hacked them, they robbed them, or
I heard about a college kid right now.
I don't know. It was something bad. It was something like, they're probably dead.
Yeah, but you heard about that one. The
renting out a college dorm, that would be awesome.
No, that's what he did. He said he needed extra money to pay for school, and before they found out, he had already had 2 residents living in his dorm.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and he was charging a lot for it too. You'd be surprised.
That's not just a place. That's an experience.
I know. You get the whole college experience for the price of rent.
What's the guy ratio there?
Sounds like a good deal, actually.
Let's get some statistics. He's got to have like some information to publish to advertise.
And they're probably doing the class and taking the notes for him too. So I mean,
well, no, that's free to have class.
Free schooling included.
Yeah.
Imagine those first 2 residents that are getting the magnetic card to get in and out of their dorm. And having the dorm RA, like...
Yeah, the RA! That's the thing that I get. How do you abide by an RA in a place you're renting?
TG for you. That is absolutely...
Or does the RA take on the responsibilities of the daily conversation in the morning at your Airbnb?
Glenn is absolutely correct. People trust a reporter with a degree in arts for all their tech knowledge. That is absolutely correct.
That's true.
Hey, good point, Glenn. Thank you for bringing that horrible realization to us.
Futures Eric also posted an interesting topic about the Linux Mint website being hacked and their ISOs being replaced with a backdoored operating system.
Oh, not just that, but their forums were hacked also, and all their forum credentials and everything, and all anything that you had on the forums, a birthday or whatever, that's gone.
Poor Mint. So
yeah, screwed.
Yeah, they were getting such a good following.
Yeah, it's sad. But why couldn't?
Yeah, no, that's why they got targeted.
And it's now a target. Now the Linux people have spoken loud enough, and they are now targets.
Stop speaking loudly.
I'm just saying. I've always said, I'm like, you're gonna do it to yourself.
Well, I know, but this is the good guys, and
Well, yes, no, not all of them are the good guys, by the way. Generally speaking, yes, they're the good guys, but
I don't know, yeah,
no,
but
no.
I just hope that they did take. Now, I don't like the fact that they didn't take proper precautions. I don't like the fact that it was as probably easy as it was for this to transpire.
What were their
for that
servers
to
running
occur.
on?
Yeah, what were their servers running on? I hope it was Linux Mint or something, but
Probably no, Mint doesn't have a server base OS.
oh, so
But apparently it was hacked by seems in the article it says to be the work of script kiddies or an inexperienced group as they opted to infect a top shelf Linux distro with a silly IRC bot that is considered to be outdated by early 2010.
okay, so again, why were they
Proof of concept?
exploited by a very old, very outdated script that
Proof of concept, because it would be easily discovered and not very damaging.
but it did
But
turn
they
out
also
to
offered to sell the
damage.
database for $85, so it definitely was not a concept.
$85, that's not a
Yeah,
big
that
profit
also
for infringement.
that's another point they made there, saying that it is a sign
Never
of
mind.
lack of knowledge.
Never mind.
Oh boy.
It was like somebody who works there's kid. You know.
But this is a very good reason to be checking the MD5 signatures of downloads you do. So
Mhm.
Oh.
Yeah, but typically when the MD5 sigs are published on the same server and in the same public facing server that the ISOs are,
mhm.
aren't they only good for man in the middle attacks really, or just data corruption? That's what I've always thought, unless you actually get them from a separate source.
Yeah, listen, I was doing some research,
That's
and I
true.
don't know if
Maybe
it's a
we should start up a third-party
little bit off.
MD5 sourcing.
It's a little bit off topic, but let me actually fire up my other IRC chat window so I don't mess up anything. But, I was I was actually reevaluating my model for playing the lottery. My model is this: wait till it gets to be $1 billion, and then buy one ticket, and then see if I win, and then never play it again until it gets above $1 billion. But I used to justify the one or very few times a year where I would spend money on the lottery by saying that now those few bucks go to
Education.
the education. Yeah, the
That's
education.
what we do here anyway. Our lottery in
The North Carolina
Educational
it's actually called the North Carolina Education Lottery. It has education in its title.
And supposedly they even give a small cut to the schools.
Yeah, give a small cut
That's
to the
what
schools.
I've heard.
So I did some investigation to try to find the background on all this, and I have a lot of other links in here that I could spam you guys with. I'm not gonna do that. I'll put in one more or whatever. But
By the
basically,
way, they access the server through WordPress.
oh God, really? Yeah. So okay. So at any rate, as it turns out, that there is less funding for schools today than there was before the North Carolina Education Lottery started. In other words, we were given more money to education in this state, in our particular state, than they received, back in I guess the 80s or whenever it was before they
that's
did the
just more
lottery.
money to borrow and port to other programs.
All of the people that want you to start a state lottery are just the people that are going to be taking that money
Yeah,
afterward. They
yeah.
always tell you that, it's going to go
So
to the schools 100%.
yeah. So, and
Except in
I'm not even going to
Colorado,
get into the whole
Colorado, they start
taxing part of
selling
it.
weed and they do give it all to the schools.
Listen, I'm not going to get into
And
the whole
schools have
taxing part.
improved.
Well, there's some cases now. Colorado is probably a model for close to the opposite, but it's not just North Carolina. North Carolina is one of the absolute worst at it, and they do the worst job of it, and that's why their schools are literally, I believe, 48th in the nation. 48th, and it's surprising that they're not 50th, frankly. But at any rate, they don't give any of the money to schools in North Carolina. It's the absolute last thing they give the money from. So it goes like this. So they receive the money, and they use it for everything but that. I thought maybe, hey, they'd be spending it on infrastructure, but apparently nobody spends the money on infrastructure either. So the only thing this money is going towards, seemingly, is inside somebody's pockets, because it's not going anywhere else. And this is billions and billions and billions of dollars you're talking about. And not only that, but something like insane, like 75% of all the money that goes into the lottery comes from the very people that the education and the benefits from it is supposed to serve. In other words, people who can't, or people who are below the poverty line, people with low educations. These are the people that are playing the lottery. It's not the rich person who's putting in $10,000 and playing a lottery ticket, buying a whole bunch of lottery tickets. They're not doing that. Okay.
But they should be.
Vast majority of the wealth.
Their odds.
Yeah. Well, but what they're doing is that the vast majority of the wealth comes from the poor, and usually doesn't get delivered back to the poor, and certainly none of the states are using the money for education or for anything else that they claim to be doing. Even if, do you guys want to see, in fact, let me see if I can show you. I have the actual page for the NC Education Lottery, and I want to post that in here, and I want you to tell me if you think any of the money goes towards education, because if you read that, there was no doubt in my mind after reading that webpage that this money is very damn useful. This is for schools and for the kids and for all the good things in the world.
Michael, none of this has ever really been a secret. I've known this since the beginning.
Well, I know, but it's just, again, I drive past the North Carolina Education Lottery building almost every day, and this is why it got to me. Okay? Because I believed that education in the title had something to do with where the money was going. I was very shocked to hear that was the farthest thing from the case, to the point that literally if we had done away with the lottery and moved back in time to before they even had it, schools would be getting more money in this state. That's all I want to say. And it's the same way with another.
I haven't been paying attention to you for the last 5 minutes, but I'm pretty sure that's all you've been saying, Michael.
Yeah, that is. He does just say the same thing.
I totally zoned out, and then I just finally came back in, and you were saying the exact same thing that you were saying when I zoned out.
So this was an interesting post from one of my friends in Colorado. It's a U.S. map if they renamed the state to what they equal in education level. North Carolina would be Panama. And this is like the ranking of how well their school ranks compared to one of the countries in the rest of the world. South Carolina would be Ecuador. Colorado would be the Netherlands, which is actually a fairly high ranking.
Yeah, that is pretty high.
And I think it's, is that Delaware or... I forget which state that is.
I don't know, but we got Mexico pretty far up north.
One of them actually ends up being the U.S. Yeah, and Mexico is in the South Dakota. Serbia is
oh my God!
Montana.
I have a feeling that the people in this country can't say it. Kyrgyzstan. Thank you. Right below Slovakia on our new map. And it would just have to be that Switzerland is right above. What are we, Panama here? You said?
Yeah. So most of those Euro countries are actually going to be the higher ranked ones in the world. So yeah, I thought that was fairly interesting and relatable to Michael's topic. And not to jump into the politics, but having a Republican state that now has a revenue stream that's not taxes to fund government programs, it does seem a little bit weird that they're not taking advantage of that, using your tax dollars otherwise.
Are we Republican now?
I was pretty sure that NC always swung.
Well, presidentially we go Republican usually, but I don't know if we're ruled by Republican. I don't know who's our people now. I know one of our senators for a billion years was Bass Knight from this area, has a restaurant here and everything. The Mark Bass Knight, he's a Democrat. He was here, and everybody here tends to be either conservative Democrats or liberal Republicans. And mostly fiscally, where everyone here is a Republican. But otherwise, they're all tend to, they lean left on the social issues and whatnot. So,
yeah, apparently the state always votes Republican, but most of the actual state level officials are Democrats.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's not weird.
It's like the gist of it is that they're sort of Republican federally and Democrat locally. It's
that's consistent. That's consistent. That's what you want to hear.
But the local government
Republican, but
everybody, at least around here, everybody always votes Democrat for local government in Republican presidential election.
That to me is ass backwards. But that
to you is ass backwards, but you don't live here, and I don't know how much you know about the politics of what goes on here with
I'm not sure that I do. That's a little too. That sounds like they're all in bed together.
Well, of course, who?
Well, that actually makes.
We're talking about the voters, dude, not the government. But yes, the government is all in bed together.
But
that actually makes the most sense, because if they're what I consider as like a true Republican philosophy is having less federal government and more local government. So if you're being a Democrat, you are being liberal among your state where it actually matters to you, and you're more conservative about having the federal government overtake you.
Yeah.
And overstep their bounds. So that's actually like more of a true Republican versus
we're old school here.
No government at all Republican. Like, the government shouldn't even tell me how to drink my water, because they do so well at that in Michigan, apparently. But yeah. So, all right.
Yeah.
Well,
hey, but if Michigan wants to shit on itself and then their water, then they can do so. But we're not about that here.
Yeah, I didn't mean to spiral us into another political week. We had quite the political week last week, if anybody wants to go back.
I had another political comment about the Pope.
Let's probably leave that one off the table. That doesn't sound like it's going good.
It was I don't like it either. I'm upset about it, I guess, a little bit. I'm just flabbergasted that the Pope called someone else not Christian.
That is pretty crazy.
Yeah, it was Donald Trump. I mean, just politically, but he called Donald Trump not Christian. And what I find funny though is few know I like learning, so I've been going to church lately. I learned about that, and one of the things I've learned just in the past few weeks is that Christians don't question other Christians' faith. That's no. And then the Pope's just like, hey, you're not a Christian. Anyway, just thought that was funny. Had a little bone to pick.
Yeah, RTM Tech was like, yeah, why not? Let's mix religion and politics.
I'm not even going there. I just wanted to talk about the man's character as anyway.
I do find it strange that it looks like our presidential election is going to be between Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump.
And that not only is it strange, it scares the fuck out of me.
Yeah, a terrible option right there.
It is scary that that's the best we have to choose from.
Yeah, and that it doesn't even matter at that point that they're both on the same side. They're both equally as bad to...
Yeah.
Well, politics have become a popularity contest, not a...
Although I would...
Not about the substance of the candidates.
I would
love
to
even
see
Bernie's
show.
You know, even Bernie Sanders is trying to take the high road, and he's like, "Well, I'm not going to run a negative ad, even though all of his people do." But he's like, "I'm not going to run a net." Well, that's being I'm better than you all of a sudden.
Burn bros.
You're better than everybody else all of a sudden. What? You liar! You fucking just as bad. That's it. It's just as bad to go. I'm better than you because I'm not going to run a negative ad.
See, RTM Tech, I would have
What are you
thought.
talking about, Nick? What are you talking about, Nick? Okay, listen.
I would have thought
he
it would have been
hasn't- he hasn't
Sanders and
run a
Trump,
negative-
but that's not what the
Sanders
problem
hasn't
is.
run a
Just when
negative
you run a
ad.
negative ad, you're putting other people down. When you do what he has been saying, you're putting other people down. It's the same thing.
Yeah, it is kind of the
That's
same thing.
politics. The whole campaign is.
That's what politics are, really.
Yeah, but he's doing it in a nicer way.
It's
It's great to point out that other
No,
people.
he's making it appear nicer, and that's part of the popularity contest that Brantley was
I
talking
shot you in the head instead of in the stomach, so you had a much nicer death. I am a much nicer murderer.
I disagree. Listen, there's a difference between Trump getting up there and shouting and calling people names, and name calling, which is, I believe, is what a child does. And there's a difference between
No,
how
Trump
Bernie's
has
presenting
the
situation.
mind of he the maturity level of a child, I guess you would say. Yes, that's true, but it doesn't make it any better or worse than being a douchebag and being intellectual about it. I mean, whatever.
You who fart in church must sin and own pew.
Did you say pew? That's hilarious.
Thank you for that levity, RTM.
That would be the only one that I would consider.
You know, we scared Futures and a bunch of people off.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh no.
Because we talked about the Pope. I said,
Oh crud. Are they Pope people?
you don't talk about the Pope, man.
Oh,
Awful
shit.
topic.
He's one of the most influential people on the planet.
Yeah.
I still haven't figured that out.
Yeah, 1 billion people do his bidding.
I don't know why. I don't get it. But anyway.
We did have a wonderful topic about the Linux Mint hack. So, back a little bit more towards the tech. There's apparently some people trying to make an even cheaper HackRF, aiming for a price point of $150. They haven't started their Kickstarter yet, which we have more on that Kickstarter topic.
Oh,
well,
Lord. Let's kickstart something.
They are offering a heavy discount for the first 10 people that sign up to being $75 for one. And that's compared to $300 for HackRF1 or I think it's like $250 or $200 for a HackRF Blue, which they also say in that article that that's going to be coming back around April. So interesting stuff there.
So why don't you mention the stuff about the Kickstarter that you...
Oh yeah, let's post that link that Nick posted this weekend. Where is it?
I thought that was very... I think everyone can appreciate this, and it should be made, I think, you know, a customer service announcement about Kickstarters and stuff like that, and that they aren't without risk sometimes, I think is also a useful message today.
So apparently there was. Oh, sorry.
Oh, you
Stupid
Google-ified it. Oh,
Google link.
You know you can get a plugin that'll remove that.
I have to do a lot of work to do that. Non-Google-fied link. So apparently a Bitcoin startup that was selling miners basically just took money and ran to the point.
It was worse than that. It was worse than that.
Yeah, to the point where they were using the products to mine Bitcoins before shipping it out, and even spent money that they had gotten to print up red pitchforks of a common complaint of their customer, which is why you no ship.
Oh, that's what I wanted to mention earlier, and I've got the link right there and the thing ready to hit enter. Brantley, why don't you just
He already
leave that to
posted it.
me?
He already
What?
posted it.
You
That's
wandered
my
off.
story.
You wandered off after your Pope talk, so and it was related to what I posted about the HackRF Kickstarter.
Yeah, what HackRF Kickstarter? I wasn't listening to that one.
I thought that was kind of cool.
You'll have to go back and watch the show like Michael now.
Damn
it. So,
why you no ship?
yeah, that is pretty awesome. Nick, if you want to go ahead and fully explain it.
Nah, I'm done.
that was
Well, just what caught me was the audacity they had not only to take people's money and
to make
use
fun of them though
before shipping it if they shipped it, but it was. And now, all right, look, I get that there in every industry there are a certain number of people or types of people who do a certain number of things or types of things, and usually it's just a few, and it's like one complaint that a lot of people have that it just annoys the crap out of people. You know, when I worked at Gateway, you know, in the call center there, I mean, there were things that went around, you know, I mean, there were people that you just called those type of people by this phrase or whatever. Sometimes even what they say. But why you no ship? I mean, come on. It's like they just paid for the product. That's all the fuck they want. Is that they're making fun of them for that?
Yeah,
Wow.
that is.
I mean,
bad.
I'm just wow, pitchforks, and they spent company money to do this. They're just having a party. Like, who there gives a fuck about anything? Like, even making a sustainable business.
Yeah.
It's like you could have had
is
a sustainable business, actually.
Yeah, they have they've settled for $38.6 million that are probably not going to be able to pay that, and have a long list of refunds that they have to give out, which they probably are not going to do that either. Although maybe you'll get a consolidation prize of a red pitchfork of why you know shit.
That's sad.
It is very sad. And yeah, that is actually why I am hesitant to fund any type of Kickstarter or startup campaign like that, is because, I mean, that's basically what they can do on Kickstarter. I mean, if you don't know, basically when you invest in a Kickstarter, they get your money and you're not getting it back, and you're just hoping you get a product. And you're hoping you get a product that's probably still in just a prototype phase, that they haven't done anything as far as manufacturing, shipping, or any of that before. It's probably just someone that came up with an idea in their garage and wants you to give money for it. Whereas some of the Kickstarters are interesting. Like, I think Kickstarters are a good outlet for what Nick mentioned about artists. One of his favorite rappers.
My only favorite, well, unless you really count Zach De La Roca, Rage Against the Machine, but
He is a rapper. He's honorary Wu-Tang. So
who is with Wu-Tang?
Zach De La Rocha.
He's with what with Wu-Tang?
He's a honorary Wu-Tang member. He beat RZA in a rap battle. That makes you an honorary member of Wu-Tang.
Oh my, neat.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, and well, the Cypress Hill guys, those are cool.
Yeah, yeah. So, and we were talking about Little Dicky, if you didn't know.
Oh yeah, sorry.
So he started his album off of Kickstarter, and I think that's a good way, because you're getting material. You already see the person. If you like their music and you want to invest in it, or you like their art and you want to invest in it and give them the opportunity to do it, so not being the struggling artist style, then that's an awesome way to go about that. But funding a product, which it seems like that's the basis of it, that's so hard to invest in something like that. I feel, I mean, that should be left something to venture capitalist or even Shark Tank, heaven forbid.
Yeah. It worked out for Little Dicky because on his first album, he got his first album with Snoop Dogg on the first track, and a bunch of other people I don't know, but
Well, he had actually already gained a good rap following in the just playing shows. So before he did his Kickstarter, even he was playing shows and met a lot of the people being in LA. So he got a good bit of it. But he even had Mark Cuban in it. So
don't know that one.
the billionaire investor, not rapper.
Oh,
He owns the sports.
A lot.
Yeah, sports.
no.
And Glenn says he's going to Kickstarter his new storm chasing vehicle with cameras and Doppler radar. That's an artistry one. So Glenn, you have a very high rate of success and a probability that I may invest in that. And that is true that VCs want half the company, but that's part of what having no money and having someone invest in your company kind of entails. So, I mean
you don't have to give in to those demands though. The thing is that it's the reason why it works. The reason why it works for the uber rich is that people let it. You know, they want, you want half the well, okay, because it's not going to happen otherwise. You know, but if no one ever said that, you know, then they wouldn't be wanting half the company and things would still be moving along.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, this wouldn't be getting rich. It's just like the more money you get, obviously, the more money you can make, and it's a system that is supported by the people without money, actually.
Yeah, it is definitely that. Silicon Valley 3 season 3 is supposed to start up soon, and that's all about startup and venture capitalism and how to deal with that in the tech business. So, April 24th, 2016 is when that third season will premiere. So. Okay. What else we got? Any other tech news or interesting things to start off the week?
I'm upset.
Uh-oh. Do you want to describe more? Or?
Oh man, did we really run off Eric and
Huh?
I don't know what the reason for. Could have just been bad timing. I mean, we needed to do work and start work or something.
Oh, okay.
I don't know what the reasoning for.
Well, if we did offend, and if we did offend anyone with saying that, I'm sorry about that. The Pope thing. I don't want to feel like Sinead O'Connor or anything. I'm not going to apologize for saying something that I believe, but is unpopular. But I am sorry if I said it.
Yeah, we're not
in the wrong form.
We're not trying to offend anyone out there, of course. That's we respect everyone's belief. We joke around a whole lot, and we all have our own opinions, obviously. And please share yours with ours if you want to. But that was not our intent. And if you'd like us, if we offended anyone out there,
okay, we got it.
Let us know.
That was mine. Just let it be mine, Michael.
RTM Tech has a tech question. What is the best OS for Kodi? Cody's Linux distro, which I assume he's indicating OpenELEC. And Michael, you had a thing with OpenELEC recently about your VPN stuff. So do you want to take that question?
Yeah, this is RTM Tech asking about the best OS for Kodi.
Yep.
Yeah, so I like OpenELEC a whole lot. I think it's a great distribution, but there's a couple of bad sides to it. One of the bad sides is they don't just willy-nilly allow you to install whatever you want onto it. So if your sole goal is to run Kodi and that's it, it's great for you. But don't expect to install OpenELEC and then start downloading packages and willy-nilly and installing whatever you want to. They do not allow that. They lock it down pretty tight. But the good news is that this also makes it incredibly difficult to break it in any way. They make it very easy to back up and restore your configuration if you need it. They make it very easy to upgrade from one distribution to another. They give you SMB shares where you can just drop a new upgrade to the OS into it, and the manual way. It'll do it automatically, upgrade it itself. It's the only thing I don't like is there seems to be an increased push to block VPN usage from OpenELEC. However, this hasn't been successful, and it seems to be the VPN providers and them kind of going back and forth. But there's never been a case where I've been without VPN access on it, and it is generally, from what I can see, supported, whether or not they don't like it. And the reason they don't like it is because I just guess Kodi gets a lot of association with piracy, and because of some bad plugins that have been created. But that's the whole point of Kodi, to have an open environment where third parties can create a plugin and add on to and extend it. So this is an inherent, I don't think it's just because a bank robber uses a car to rob a bank doesn't mean that cars are bad, that type of thing. I don't want to get into any other political things, but the point is that I like it and it works well for me, but just know that it needs to be a dedicated box and not a multi-purpose box. In other words, if you're doing more than Kodi on it, OpenELEC is probably not the choice. Now, OpenELEC, if you guys don't know, and I guess I should post a link, but OpenELEC is the Open Embedded Linux Entertainment Center distribution, and I believe its web address is openelec.tv. Here you go.
RTM Tech posted Kodi Ubuntu. Have you heard of that one?
No, I haven't, but there's nothing. I mean, you can always build your own OpenELEC, if you will, from any other distribution and input on Kodi. I mean, Kodi will work on any Linux distribution.
Well, and Proctor also showed that Kodi can go on Windows 7. So
yeah, Kodi can go on Windows. Kodi can go on Linux. Kodi can go on Mac. Yeah. It's very.
And that's kind of what I would feel is the best OS for it is whichever OS you prefer to use in that situation. If you're, like Michael was saying, if you're looking for a dedicated box, the OpenELEC does make it extremely easy to set up and use a dedicated box like that, especially if you're using a Raspberry Pi, for example.
Yeah, the hardware requirements are pretty low. Just you need a little bit of video acceleration, obviously, to do the decoding of the videos, but you can actually make it work on even a Pi 1. I don't recommend it. I recommend at least a Pi 2. But the box I got it running on is a quad-core Celeron Bay Trail era system on a chip from Intel. But it's more than powerful enough with 4 gigs of RAM. I would say you can get by with 2 gigs of RAM and the lowest end, probably quad-core processor you can find, maybe even a dual-core processor would be workable as well. So, anyway, sorry to interrupt you, Brantley.
No, that's good.
Be right back.
Yeah, and obviously a Linux system is probably going to utilize your system resources more efficiently if that's what you're looking for. But really it comes down to what you're most comfortable with, what you want to work with, and what your setup is. Again, if you are building a dedicated box, there's not a lot of reason not to go with something like OpenELEC, or if Kodi Ubuntu is another option. There was another one that Raspberry Pi had as an option. I forget the name of it now, but it was basically like OpenELEC with a different interface. So,
yeah, what is that? I can't remember that.
I think it was on the Noobs.
Yes, it was. What was that? Cody Buntu. Cody Buntu looks interesting. But one of the things I like about the OpenELEC versus Kodi Buntu, it looks like it's, the OpenELEC box when it boots up goes straight into Kodi. There's no other interface. It boots in, it boots instantaneously. I mean, I can't even count to 10, and and the system is up and started to the point where I can do remote control input to it. That's what I like. I like its focus on peripheral support. For large TVs, for remote control, for interface stuff.
OSMC is the other one.
OSMC, yeah, that's it. I remember now. Thank you. I have not tried those, but the polish that OpenELEC does, I think, is really commendable. The only thing I don't like is they're going to drag their feet as far as their.
I honestly thought the OSMC interface was much more polished and nicer.
Really?
OpenELEC.
I guess I've gotten. Well, it's Kodi interface. I just stop saying the OpenELEC interface because the OpenELEC interface is Kodi, so it's just Kodi. So I'm not so sure.
I think that interface is not as nice as the OSMC.
OSMC is Michigan's leading musculoskeletal resource center.
No, the OSMC.tv, which is the link I posted.
Oh.
Reasons why you can't just Google something.
It was built for people by people. I only take things built by robots, so.
There's your problem.
It can be installed on Windows? What? Something's not right about OSMC.
Only thing not right about it is that you haven't tried it and seen how much better and nicer it is. I believe I did show it off on one of our previous episodes while we were showing those off.
Oh, okay.
I believe I might be mistaken on that because
you might be right. I regularly remember you showing something else, but I didn't know if it was OSMC or if it was something different. But
Michael doesn't like change, so.
No, but I'm wondering what the deal. If it's based on Debbie and Jesse, how the hell is it installed on Windows? That's really what's bothering me right now.
Virtualized?
Okay.
And why don't you try it out? And awesome, glad we gave you something to do today, RTM Tech. Vero? What is Vero, Glenn? Oh, by the way, Nick, Glenn said you did offend him, but also wants to know what you said.
Absolutely, you offended me. I have no idea what you said.
I said never mind.
It was a whatchamacallit question.
It looks like Trend Micro is deleting Crypto Prevent from computers.
I saw that ticket.
So submit it to Trend Micro's thing,
please.
Vero, the Italian word for their belief and commitment to their software. Vero, the Italian word for true, and it reflects OSMC's belief and commitment to open source software. Interesting, Glenn. Yes, with your question mark, that is one. Although that looks like their box design. Midnight Black.
Brantley, I told you to reference the full tool code last night, and I uploaded and went to sleep, and I forgot to have permissions for even me to view it. So I was just.
Yeah, I was wondering about that. I was like, that upload is taking a long time.
Yeah,
Apparently, there's a lot of code to review.
it's up now.
Man.
In unrelated news, I watched the Terminator Genesis, the conclusion of the Terminator movies.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
When did that come out?
That was thoroughly enjoyable, I will say.
When was that? That was recent, right?
I
Very
thought,
Yeah,
recent.
last
I
year.
thought it was okay. I mean,
I went into it with absolutely zero expectations.
yeah,
Mhm.
that's
And
good.
was thoroughly surprised. I enjoyed it. They did
Awesome.
they did their thumbs up to Terminator 1 and 2.
Yeah, it was an homage very much. I
And then they went off on their own, and it was fun. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was much better than some of the ones after Terminator 2, so I liked it a lot as well.
And don't forget the final X-Files is on tonight.
I'm not gonna forget that.
Hopefully they do well with it. I don't know about their recent episodes. It's been kind of
I'm wondering if last week's episode, if they were introducing a new duo for a new series.
That's what I had an issue with. Is that I don't want a new
stop.
duo with a new
I haven't
series.
watched it.
That's all I'm saying, spoiler-wise, Michael.
Wait, are we still? Whoa, we're still on the show, aren't we? Shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, forgot.
If they do try to do that, Tank, I don't think it's going to be successful.
No, not with that duo at least.
There's only one way that's going to work for them to bring it back, and that's
With them teaming up with Mulder and Scully. And that would be a crowded hotel room.
Yeah.
Oh, and Walking Dead was on last night again as well, and interesting, not action-packed like their first comeback episode, but interesting plot developments. So hopefully we'll get back to the action-packed in the coming weeks. But all right, well that's our hour. We ran people off. We're sorry that we offended them, and we're talked about some tech stuff. So we're gonna get to work, and we'll be back tomorrow at 10 a.m. If anyone has any questions about our software or would like support or demos, that's what we're here for, and we'll gladly interrupt our ranting and ravings to assist with that.
Mm-hmm.
might even be a good idea.
Yeah. Sometimes. And yes, RTM Tech will go off with Tank's Genesis. We'll be back tomorrow, and also don't forget our sale of Crypto Prevent. If you haven't already bought up the unlimited copy, which is an amazing 40% off right now, buy up as many bulk packs as you can, because they are 20% off, as well as the other editions, the premium and the combo pack with D-Maintenance. So grab it all and take advantage, because we are very close on Crypto Prevent 8, and we will be raising the prices after that. So we will see you tomorrow, and thanks everybody for watching, and apologies for anything that we may do or say.
Ever.
Bye-bye, Internet. Thanks for joining us. We'll be back tomorrow.
Have a good Monday.
Before the show.
Peace.
A disclaimer before the show, that would be good.
Okay, I'm cutting it.